Supernatural. Magic. Ghosts. UFOs. Bigfoot. Extraterrestrial. Psychic energy.
And good evening, everyone. It's another today was a beautiful day here. It wasn't total sunshine. It's got some slight overcast right now, but 68 degrees in Minnesota with almost no humidity. It's absolutely just beautiful. See, fat people like myself, we love this type of weather because we know that we're not going to be sweating around like crazy for, no reason whatsoever. But anyway, so Kimberly is not going to be on tonight. She's got her son's in town, and so she's going to go pick him up at the airport, and they're going to have some mommy-son time, which is good. So, but tonight, we have back with us tonight, we have Willow. Willow, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Jerry. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. Yep, I didn't even try to say your last name because I know I was a guy. I will get to figure out how to do it one of these times. So, and we never got to even touch most of the stuff that we had to talk about last time. We didn't even come close. So, figure it's time to get everything going again. Sound good?
Sounds like a plan.
Excellent. Now you're down in New Orleans, and down there, it's like the paranormal state, of any place that you want to go to, right?
Yeah, it's haunted.
So, what places have you been out of state, like Waverly or anything like that?
No. Well, none of the big places. I've gone to the U.S. Virgin Islands. We've done some of the forts down there, especially in the dungeon areas. Those were pretty cool. On St. Croix and St. Thomas. That was fun.
Wow. Did you get a lot of...
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. And anything happen? Anything got cut on film or anything like that?
I didn't capture anything on film, but we did use our spirit box and got a lot of replies and things like that. It was just, you could just feel the energy in those places. It was pretty intense.
Oh, I suppose that would be incredible. I mean, I would love to go there, but Waverly's my next. I want to go back to Waverly really bad. The team wants to go, and some of the alumni want to go too, so that's going to be pretty cool. So now, just you and I here, so don't be nervous. I'll do that.
Okay, I'm fine.
Now, last time that we talked, after the show, we started talking about Bigfoot and UFOs. What do you feel? Do you feel there is a connection to them, or?
I think the jury is still out. I find that there are some situations that make one wonder if there is a connection. People will see a UFO in the sky at about the same place that they will have a Bigfoot sighting, for instance. Or they will see orbs, and then they will have a Bigfoot sighting. Then there has been certain situations that I've heard about and read about and saw documentaries on where literally it was a UFO and then they were like attacked by Bigfoot. So I'm just wondering if there is a connection or if it's interdimensional or what's really going on there.
Okay, when you said interdimensional, are you talking about just Bigfoot or are you talking about UFOs also?
Oh, both.
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 You think there's that possibility that they're using each other as a jump line?
They could be using the same. Yeah, I mean, if we're using wormholes or whatever they're using to jump, it's like maybe they are using the same ones.
Okay, so I got to ask you this. Do you think that Bigfoot is possible on other planets, almost like your Chewbacca of Star Wars? Or do you think that they are more here and they just use those to jump around within the world?
I never thought about that. Now you're going to have me thinking because I never really considered that. But I mean, why not? I mean, if extraterrestrials can travel from planet to planet, why couldn't they? If they are using that same, mode of transportation, let's say, why not? Yeah, I think it is possible. I think they do like the wooded areas here because I think they're more primal than I think they're primal in a way, but I think they're a higher intelligence than we give them credit for.
Okay. So, like, that's interesting. Because I still think that I know that they're intelligent. I did see a Bigfoot many years ago, and I'm staring at it, trying to figure out what it is. Because to me, I just thought it was a moose trying to get up off the ground until it stood up on two legs.
Right.
But when it looked towards the sunlight, it actually put its hand up to, get the sun off of its face, really.
Yeah.
And it's like, to me, that's a huge sign of intelligence.
Yes.
So.
Oh yeah, I totally believe they're intelligent. I don't think they communicate maybe in the same way as, humans do, but that doesn't mean that they're not evolved for wherever their planet originated was. I guess that's
Right.
what I'm from. It's like, I think they are probably the highest beings from wherever they originated.
Okay. Now, because there's a lot of like the deer, the little deer about the size, the full-grown that are about the size up to your knee that they found, and I can't remember where it was. I want to say India. I think it was India. But anyway, they found those, and it's the first time they ever seen them. It was like back in 1983. So being in the woods and stuff, and not being able to see them, do you think that there's more animals that might have even a higher intelligence that are in big wooded areas like soon we'll find out from the rainforest what's there, the way they're cutting it down and let it burn like crazy, that do you think there's more out there?
I think there's a lot of cryptos out there, the cryptids that we don't know about. I really do. I think we're going to discover a lot more as we destroy our planet. We're going to have to, They won't have any hiding places when we're done.
Right. So what do you think about, thinking about that, that's kind of interesting, because I bought a book from, it's way over there, and I should have had it next to me. I moved to a new spot to do the show at. And in it, Lauren Coleman had wrote down when they found things like the American tapir or the panda and stuff like that. I was very surprised that it was in the 1900s that a lot of these were found. So I really feel that there's definitely more things out there. But what is your belief like on Mothman and stuff like that? Do you believe in such things?
That one, I think that could have been some sort of more like an alien type of being showing up. I'm not really sure about, did they come as to prepare people or to warn people? I don't think that that's what it was. I could be completely wrong. I haven't done enough research on Mothman per se, but I do know there's other cryptids out there. So,
Right.
Is it a cryptid or is it an alien, an extraterrestrial? I don't know. I find it very interesting, though, that it can fly. So that, I'm like, well, we would have seen that a lot more, wouldn't we, if it wasn't extraterrestrial?
True. I agree with you on that. I agree. So now, when it comes to what was my next point? Well, we'll go on with the rest of the show because we've got a lot of stuff here to talk about. So, what is your? You were talking about the alien being able to contact with them, or what was it that you said? Oh gosh, here it is. Aliens in the higher conscious. Tell me about that. How to connect with that stuff.
Okay. Well, I started looking at my own experiences that I've had with them. So now people are going to know I'm that crazy woman that has seen UFOs. But every time that I have had some sort of an encounter with a UFO, with an actual extraterrestrial, it's always been in a spiritual location or after I've been in a higher meditative state. So it's kind of like they won't come in if they feel that we are a danger to them or we are not evolved enough to connect with them. I think that's why they're holding back and not showing themselves as much. They're picking and choosing who they can connect with because look at our planet. I mean, we're pretty violent. You know, I think there's this warning, don't go there. That planet should be in quarantine completely. You know, don't go there because they're going to try to take us all out. They've captured some of us, kind of thing. But from what I've seen, my first experience was in 1975. My mother and I were alone. My father passed away in October of 75 at 43 years old. And so it was just me and my mom. And we lived in the typical Indiana trailer park. And my mom had been sitting outside and she was watching these lights in the sky. And she called me outside to see them. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But there were so many lights in our trailer park we couldn't see well enough. She goes, well, let's go to the parking lot at the church across the street. It's up on a hill. It's all dark. We should be able to see it better there. So we get in the car. We drive up there. We get out of the car. We're standing there. We're watching. The lights are getting closer to us. And we're watching them do weird maneuvers, right angles, coming together, breaking apart, the typical UFO sighting. And the minister comes out because he lived in the parsonage next to the church. And he comes out and he's like, what are you ladies looking at? And we point up, and about that time, we see a ship come down. And it's over our heads. And I don't remember hardly anything other than seeing that ship. And then I remember it lifted up and it took off. But we were basically, if you think about it, on holy ground. We were in a religious space. We were trying to figure it out. We weren't being dangerous. We weren't being violent. We didn't want to shoot at them or anything like that. We were more calm and connecting. And the strange part of it was when it took off, I remember very distinctly, at least I think it was the minister that said this to us, you will not remember this. Nothing happened. Do not tell anyone. And we got in the car and we went home. Now, was it the minister that actually implanted that? Because I didn't tell anybody for over 12 years.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, that was when I was like 13. I was 25 before I told anybody about that situation that I experienced. My mom and I didn't even discuss it between ourselves.
Right. Wow. So, okay, this is probably a really bizarre question. You got questions in the chat room, and we'll go with those in just a moment, you guys. But now that I'm thinking about this, if I don't ask it, I'm going to end up forgetting it. Everybody knows that. But you were just talking about being on religious ground.
Yeah.
Okay. When they came down, so they knew that you didn't mean anything, any kind of harm or anything like that. Do you feel that is maybe the cross is a symbol to them from so many millions of years, billions of years ago, even before Christ, that cross actually means? Is there that possibility of that?
I hadn't thought about that, but it is very possible because it was very, prominently displayed on the building of the church. And, we were out there with a religious leader at that moment. And maybe they just, saw that and that's the place we need to go. I don't know. But I don't actually know how long we were standing there. I don't know if we were missing time. I don't recall. Like
right.
I said, they told me to forget it, so I did.
So now, the people that were with you, how many people were with you in the car?
It was just me, my mom, and then we got out of the car, and the minister came over from his house, and we were all standing in the parking lot.
That's when he said it to you guys.
Yeah, it was just the three of us.
So have you and your mother ever discussed this?
We never did, and she took that to her grave. She died in 1996, and we never spoke of it.
Really?
We never talked about it together.
I think your mom was an alien.
You're
the cover story.
I was raised by aliens. It's a new book. It's coming out.
Watch it. I got a feeling that's really going to happen here.
It's possible.
Okay, so let's take a look at what people have said. Some people are wondering if Mothman isn't some type of an angel. What do you think?
Well, there we go with what my belief of what angels are. So I believe that if you look at the ancient alien scenario, I believe that angels are higher beings. I don't follow the Christian beliefs, so I don't see them as just a Christian, entity. So for me, I feel that angels are actually alien beings. I think they're, or higher dimensional beings, let's say. So right. Is Mothman one of them? That's possible. Because if you look at Enochian beliefs of angels, they don't look like pretty little cute cherubs. They look more like dragons.
Really?
Yeah, they are not cute and pretty.
And this is who?
The Enochians?
Who are the Enochians?
Way back, ancient, going way, way back. There's a book of Enoch, and the Enochians described what angels looked like.
And their description was
more like dragons. Some had 3 heads, multiple eyes. Were not cute. Weren't cute and chubby like the little cherubs you see. They were very scary. So with Mothman looking the way he did, that could be a possibility that it was a higher dimensional being, aka an angel, if that's what you want to call them. So that is a possibility.
Interesting. Okay. Somebody was saying that maybe Bigfoot is some sort of human shapeshifter, like I'm going to butcher the name, Lopgaru, Lopgarru. Do you know anything about that?
No. I'm not certain that it's a shapeshifter per se. They do tend to imitate, from what my research has been, is they do imitate other animals in the forest with their sounds and their calls, so that it makes you feel more comfortable. So, but to actually shapeshift, I don't know. I don't know if anybody has ever documented that.
Okay. Well, let's see here if I got this right. Let's see here. Lopgaru is more like it looks to me more like a dog man type of thing.
Like a werewolf?
Yes.
Well, people have confused them, I think, in the past for being a werewolf. But I don't know. Everything that we've seen research, and everybody that's had sightings, they all look similar. Everybody describes them as more, ape-like, huge, tall, giant-like beings. So, and hairy. Which, werewolves would be hairy, but I don't know. But but if you think of the werewolf, they have the longer snout. So I don't
Right.
know if we would say that it would be the same.
Got it. Sorry, I had to sneeze there. Well, yeah. Well, when I seen Bigfoot, Bigfoot's not like you would see on the show Finding Bigfoot or anything like that, where they're big and huge ape-like. They are. The one that I seen was. Now I know Shaquille O'Neal would be really upset with this, but more of that type of physique. But it was strong. It did have massive shoulders, but walked more of a lumber than like how they show Bigfoot, like he's all ticked off and just ready to beat the stuff out of somebody and stuff like that. So yeah, that I don't believe. And I believe, just looking at that, then I know it was Bigfoot. Looking at that, it's like I think that the only type of meat that he actually ate really was fish, because it just didn't seem like it would be anything of like a big, large meat eater. Now, I could be wrong, but, look at panda bears. Pandas, if I'm correct, they just eat bamboo, and they look like they could be big meat eaters too and stuff, like a grizzly or something. Right. But they just didn't have that, it was just bizarre. So let's go on to the next one here. Is it possible for us as humans to be able to move between dimensions other than portals and vortexes?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I know I have astral traveled, so if we can do that, I think there will come a time when we can. I don't know if people are doing it yet, but I would say that as we evolve and raise our vibrations, I think we should be able to. I think maybe once aliens, extraterrestrials actually come down and make themselves known, we'll find out, and maybe they'll teach us.
Do you think they're like living here with us right now?
Yes.
They do.
I do. Yes.
So, okay.
I've met some, so yes, I think they have.
Okay.
Well, at least that's what I think they were.
Gotcha. Let's see now. How easy do you think it is to create or activate a portal or a vortex? And would you want to? I mean, not knowing exactly how you're going to travel through it, would you want to open up one? Do you think like a pendulum actually does that, so that one can be opened up? And could it be something that used to get rid of evil in a person's house or person's land? Or do you think that's something that could open up that people really don't know that much about, that could actually suck in the evil and cause worse problems?
Okay, well, that's in depth. Let's take a look. First off, I have portal mirrors in my seance room. I have 2 of them, okay, and I have them facing each other. So I know that at least spirit energy, we're all made of energy, and when we leave this body, we just get rid of the slower moving stuff, and we raise our vibration to be spirit, solid spirit now, not just a human body. And that's what's coming through the portals. So I think if we could raise our vibration high enough, why not? However, would we want to, not knowing what's on the other side?
True. That's true.
I don't think I would want to go if I didn't know what was on the other side. Now, if an interdimensional being, let's say, came through and, I trusted that being and they told me that this is how we travel, I would probably do it.
And they showed you, brought you on to show you. Okay.
Yes.
Because
I wouldn't do it just jumping through. I wouldn't know what would be on the other side.
I guess I would find somebody that I trust but really don't care for and throw them through. Because if they don't come back, then forget about it, But at least if they did come back, then it's like I could definitely trust what they say. But,
Yeah, you could tie a rope around them to make sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, do you ever see rope burns when you try to hold a horse back?
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. All right, so Steph was saying, I think Mothman is neither cryptid nor angel, but something else entirely. Thoughts on that? Because, I mean, actually, that I could understand that, if you really look at it.
And why not? I mean, there are so many different creatures and beings that we probably still don't know anything about. And Mothman could very well be something we just don't know. We just have never figured out. I mean, and is it just an interdimensional being that we've never met, that only a few people have seen? And being interdimensional, because there's so many dimensions, we have no clue everything that's out there. I think it is very still uncharted territory for us.
Right. Huh. Very good. Very good. I have a million more questions. And then the second half of the show is going to be completely different. So let's stick with this now. What kind of cryptids do you guys have around you, New Orleans?
Well, let's see. What do we have around here? The only one that I know for sure is the Honey Island swamp beast, which would be more like the skunk ape or Sasquatch or Bigfoot. Now, I hear two things. It was a hoax, it was made up, but other people have seen it. So it's like, well, is it or isn't it? That's the one that everybody talks about here. They also talk about the Rougarou, which is a werewolf-type creature, a shape-shifting werewolf-type creature. And those are the two for Louisiana that I'm aware of.
Okay. What about a Wendigo?
Wendigo. I have, I've never really done a lot of research. I've heard somebody tell me that they felt like they were attacked by one here, but I'm not sure if they were, feeling real good or drinking a little bit too much. I mean, this is New Orleans after all.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Well, when it comes to the Wendigo, I know that Lauren Coleman had said that a Wendigo actually is a Bigfoot. I don't know about that, Could it possibly be that? I don't know. I have seen the 1925, I remember, I don't remember it because I wasn't that old, but in 1925, I read about a guy by the name of Jack something, I don't remember his last name, and that he was, because Wendigo was more of a spirit.
Yeah.
Went into him, and he ate most of his family. And they went after him because he was more like of a serial killer, and he took off, and they were not able to ever find him again after that. Now, in 2003 or 2005, a guy by the name of Jeffrey up in Red Lake had shot and killed many of the students, relatives, teachers, security guards, stuff like that. And when he took his life, there was many claims that there was a Wendigo that was there and had actually made him take a shot on him. Now, I'm going to say this because I've talked about this on the show before, is that I am not going to confirm or deny, well, I guess I really can't talk about it because I wasn't supposed to, and there was somebody that did get back to me about it that, I can't say who they were that showed me the tape, and there was something there.
Oh.
Was it a Wendigo? In my eyes, it was. It was something I've never seen before. But anyway, we'll leave that be right there on that one. And it's time to take a break anyway. So we'll be back in 2 minutes, everybody.
You are listening to Para X.
Demons, vampires, werewolves, skinwalkers, all of this and more, Sunday nights at midnight on the Staring Into the Abyss radio show. Come, get lost with us.
You haunted by shadow people in the middle of the night?
Do you secretly love all things creepy and spooky, enjoying ghost stories and horror fiction from the best storytellers?
Do you have a true ghost experience you want to share, but no one will believe you?
If yes, listen to the professionals on What Are You Afraid of? Horror Paranormal Show Friday nights at 9 p.m. on Para X Radio and at www.whatareyouafraidofpodcast.com.
What are you afraid of on Para X?
Our creepy and demented hosts are on call to provide you with all your spooky needs with true ghost stories, interviews, indie music, and new horror fiction. We are ready to scare you.
Para X.
Those geek ladies, Sean and Victoria from Exploring the Paranormal with Geeks Paranormal, are at it again with another amazing season full of paranormal celebrity interviews with amazing guests and stories of haunted locations and so much more. You will hear it first on Para X. Tune in Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Central. You will not be disappointed.
Alrighty, and we are back. If you're just tuning in, this is The Calling. Kimberly Juarez, as I call her, has the night off tonight. And if you did not catch the first part of the show and you want to catch the whole show, tomorrow we'll have it on our website, www.thecallingradioshow.com, and it'll also be put on our YouTube channel, The Calling Radio Show, so check it out. Para X has like the best entertainment possible. Staring Into the Abyss, Sunday nights, midnight. Check them out. They're awesome. The Gathering's great. They're on every Tuesday night from 8 p.m. Central Standard Time to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Only again on Para X you're going to be able to hear them. And that's Stephanie and Heidi, so have a good time with that. And then right after our show, stay tuned because there's Geeks Paranormal. The ladies, they do it good. And so now we're back. We have Willow with us again this week. And we're kind of talking about UFOs, cryptids, what do they have together, all that fun stuff. But during the break, I ran over to grab a book because we were talking about Lauren Coleman's Cryptozoology A to Z. And in here, I was just amazed to find out when they had found certain animals. So is it possible Bigfoot? Is it possible other animals and stuff like that? Or even ones that we haven't seen already? It is possible. In 1819, the American tapir, I probably said that wrong. 1902, the mountain gorilla. The Komodo dragon was in 1912. And then just getting back, going back here even, King Cheetah, 1975. It just kills me that, some of these, a black tree kangaroo in 1988, which just is something else. A blue Timor monitor, 1999. So it's incredible, all the animals that are out there, and that, they just came out not really that long ago. But Willow, no, I got to ask you this question because I do ask this from time to time on people. What do you think of the Patterson film, 1967, of Bigfoot?
That's really interesting because I was just watching a documentary about them yesterday. And I don't think it was faked. I really don't.
Really?
I don't think it was faked. I know everybody thinks that it was, but I don't think that they were in on it. If it was faked, they didn't do it. Somebody could have played something on them, but I don't think they did it.
Well, all in all, though, I mean, even if they filmed it, it would still be faked. I mean, I still am thinking that it's a complete hoax. Because if you watch the Sasquatch walk away, take a look at its butt and take a look at its muscles in the legs. It's like there's a pillow there. If you really watch it, and a lot of people say, well, it couldn't be because they didn't have that type of technology back in those days. Yes, they did. When they came out with Creature from the Black Lagoon, a lot of people thought that actually was real. The suit wasn't everything. So that's even going back further, another 20 years or so. So is it possible? It is possible that it is hoax. But in my eyes, there's just too much doubt to call it something real, And even they, as a matter of fact, if I'm correct, one of the people of it, I don't know if it was Gimlin or Patterson, who was it that died? Was it?
I think it was Patterson that died because I think it was Gimlin that we actually were watching. He was being interviewed. Okay,
because he or someone, one of his family members, even said that it was fake, that it wasn't real, it was a hoax. But is it? I don't know. I just had to ask you that. I'm just kind of curious about what you think on it and stuff like that.
I went back and forth on it, but I guess listening to that documentary, he seemed very authentic, and like it frightened him. So I really felt from what I was picking up from him that he thought it was real.
Okay. Well, okay.
Maybe the other guy hoaxed him.
It could be. Not for sure. So, all right. Well, I just had to get your thing on that. So now last night on The Gathering, they were talking about angels and demons and stuff like that. Now I have a question for you. Do you feel that a spirit guide can be a parent? Somebody's parent dies. Could they be somebody's parent?
Yes.
Or, okay, we're going to go with parent first. So you really feel there is a possibility?
I believe that it could be a parent or any deceased ancestor, like grandparent, great-grandparent. I do believe that. And only because being a medium and being able to communicate with spirits a lot, what I have found, over these years is that a spirit guide is a spirit that has had many similar life lessons that you are having. And because of that, they are able to guide you through them. And it's also kind of like they accept that responsibility to help their own souls evolve and to help yours evolve. So I do believe that it could be a parent or any deceased ancestor or loved one that chooses that responsibility on the other side.
Okay, very good. I believe that too. I really do. What about when it comes to angels? Angels, could they be? We're going to ask the same question about could they be a spirit guide, or could they be a family member that are there to help you? Angels, spirit guides, same thing, only different. Could they possibly be that?
In my experience, they are two separate entities.
Okay.
A spirit guide has been in human form. An angel has not been in human form.
Okay.
So it couldn't be the same. Now, could a deceased loved one kind of watch over you, protect you, save you from a situation? I do believe so. My own father's spirit stopped me when I was 25 and driving home drunk. I mean, I heard my name screamed at me with my father's voice, and I woke up completely sober from that moment on. And
wow.
So I believe that they can protect us.
Nice. Okay. Well, that's good. I believe that too, honestly. Let's see. When it comes to angels, you've seen the movie City of Angels with Nicolas Cage and and Meg Ryan. Well, for some reason, just after I had listened to the Gathering show, I had to watch it. So I watched it. Now, what do you say in angels being there? Like, are they, some have specific jobs, such as, right before you die there, to be there to help you and then make you understand that, like your body's too damaged whatsoever. So now it is time to go and things are going to be okay. So then they let you go?
I find from what I've seen at deathbeds that it wasn't angels that were coming in, but actually loved ones that were coming in from the other side.
Okay.
So do angels do that? I suppose if somebody didn't have a lot of deceased loved ones on the other side to welcome them in, they may take that role of guide to help them cross. Why not? I mean, angels, I believe, are pure love and light and higher beings. So if they're higher beings, then they would be willing to help that human spirit cross over and assist to understand.
Right. I just realized, sorry guys, is Jerry a demented host? No, I'm not. Why would you think I'm demented? I didn't see any of these questions or comments. The chat room thing was kind of stuck. So I'm going to kind of go through some of these and just see what this... But somebody called me, asked if I'm demented. Am I demented? Would I know if I'm demented?
I hope not.
Okay. Let's see. Jerry, you were awful. Why am I awful? What did I do? How do you know they were aliens? Okay. Shoot. Oh, almost said the SHIT word. Yeah, I know. I said that. Okay, so Lauren Coleman says that UFOs and Bigfoot mean nothing, but why are there so many people to see UFOs and Bigfoot? They just could. I mean, don't you think that's just it could just happen? I mean, there could be a thing, but doesn't mean that Bigfoot is a UFO.
Right. No.
It could be just using, like we were talking about, could be just used using a flight pattern or vortex or whatever to get through stuff and everything else. And yeah, go ahead, take a vote, guys. Let's see. Sarge, I am abstaining from that vote. Wow, you dirty little... Okay, so, gosh, I thought I was more well-loved. But anyway, okay, so when it comes to the angel part of it, okay, like I said, in the movie, and a lot of people like to believe that the angels then will help you go on. A person has free will. What about a person dying and there's nobody there, or they were an evil type person? What would happen with them?
Well, what I have found, earthbound spirit generally are those who have been told so much growing up that if you're bad, you go to hell, that they're afraid to cross into that light because they're afraid that that's where they're going to go. And so because of that, we have earthbound spirits. We also have some who may not even realize they're dead. Something tragic happened and they were instantly dead kind of situation, and they don't even realize they're dead. So sometimes they're stuck. I help those cross. It's more difficult, let's say, that if it's a suicide victim, they may be afraid if they were raised Catholic, if you commit suicide, you're going to go to hell kind of situation. They may be more hesitant to cross into the light. And so those are some that are a little bit more difficult to help. I have still helped some, but they have to be really talked to an awful lot and convinced that they're going to be okay on the other side. So it wouldn't matter if loved ones came in to help them or not because they were so afraid.
Okay. All right. So now when a person does die and they're where do you feel that they really go to, and do they have the will to come back and visit at any time?
Okay, so what I have found is that once they cross and they leave their body and they cross into the light, it's almost like they are washed of all that human gunk, that all those emotions, all of that baggage that we have with our bodies and our ego and all of that. That's gone, and we become pure light and love and back into that the consciousness. And so they do, after a period of time, I feel they're allowed to come back and forth, and they can stop and they can come in and show you themselves. Like a lot of people will see their grandmother or their husband or their wife, or somebody will come in and just to let them know that they're okay, and then they go back. So it takes time, I think, for some to learn how to go back and forth, but I know they do. And I've even had one that was a deceased paranormal investigator come back through to tell me how they did it.
Really?
That was really interesting. I was doing a seance for a group of ladies, and the one asked me to connect with a certain person, and it was a male, and I did not know their connection. I didn't know anything about, what they had discussed before his death. And he had told her that if he could connect through seance or whatever, because he believed it was real, that he would come back and he would tell her how spirits go back and forth. And I just looked at her and I said, I don't know why he's showing me this, but he's showing me like a tiled corridor with a big door on one end and a big door on the other end. And he's telling me that he comes through, he's in the in-between, and then he comes into our space. And that's how he's doing it. Why would he tell you that? Why would he want me to show you that? She's
Interesting.
like, because I wanted to know how spirits did that. And he was a paranormal investigator, and he wanted to know as well.
Wow.
And he showed me that. And it was very weird because I'm like, why are you showing me this corridor?
That's one thing. That's one thing I've always wondered was, if I was to die, I mean, I would try to find that veil or that thinness of being able to be an investigator back, and investigate of the living.
Yeah.
And try to get proof of the living, though probably, only some people. Not all people. There's my demented side again, I guess, according to the chat room. So that's interesting. That's really interesting. I'm just amazed that somebody actually brought it up. It's been years since I said that. That's pretty interesting. Let's see now. I read that they go to a really beautiful, boring place, so all they can do is think and return in about 5 years, but it's not an easy life they have to get through. Journey of the souls.
That's not what they've shown me, but everybody, like I said, everybody has their own beliefs. So I have been shown that they become one with that consciousness. They just go into that consciousness, the universal consciousness that we all come from, the energy, basically back to energy. You can't get rid of energy. It just changes and transforms. And so they do that. Now, the spirit part, we're multidimensional beings having a human experience. Okay, that's how I have to explain it to people, because what I see when I connect with them is that when they cross over, they become that. But the part that I connect with to help maybe a loved one connect with their deceased loved one is only the human part of that spirit, because we're multidimensional. So I'm connecting with the memories or the actions that being, that spirit had while they were in a human form. So that's why we're so huge we can't even fit in just one body. Our spirits are just too big for that.
Right. What Gene was talking about when I read that off there was Journey of the Souls book.
Okay, I've never read that.
Okay, gotcha. Do you believe there is a well of souls that are not born yet? That's interesting. I never heard of that.
I mean, I think I've heard of it, but it's not part of my belief system to be that. Because what happens when the well runs dry? I would have to look at that.
Well, that's something right there. Now, this sounds really strange, but, we wash our clothes and we reuse them again and stuff like that. What if a soul that is dark and tarnished, can souls be rewashed, refluffed, or whatever to be used again later? Or is there always something that stays within that soul that could spark up again with another person if used?
What I've seen is that spirit, even the darkest of spirits, what happens when they come into human form is they're here for life lessons. No matter if they're evil or not, they're life lessons, right? Now, the thing is, their existence may be part of someone else's life lesson as well. That other person that maybe they harm may need a life lesson of loss or tragic death or whatever it might be. And so that being that we see as pure evil still would go into the light as long as they would allow their selves to go into the light, and it would be washed clear of all of that negative. It's kind of like getting a major cleansing or clearing on the spirit when it crosses into that light. So now, can it come back? Yeah, because it's learned a lot of life lessons, and it's also assisted others in these life lessons, as harsh as they may have been. So I can't say that there's not evil, because of course, I mean, we look at serial killers and we think, that is pure evil. But at the same time, it's still a spirit that can be cleansed and then can come back. And maybe in the next life, they're the ones that have to be murdered.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so Steve B was saying, from what I understand, demons and angels are not spirits.
No, they are not. They're higher beings or different beings.
Okay, got it. Karen even says, which I was just about to say, I'm not sure serial killers have a soul.
They have no conscience. That's a different thing.
Oh, that's true.
They have no conscience.
Right. It's funny. Well, it's not funny. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to use that word. My uncle, my dad's brother, his son is in prison, and they were actually going to let him out. He killed 7 women. He was a serial killer. And something happened where he actually almost had 1 foot out, but then something happened, a new retrial and stuff like that, and he decided he's not ever going to be paroled for what he had done. But one thing was very interesting is that during the time when that was going to happen, the house that his dad lives in was actually willed from his mother to him to be his house. So, yeah, but because the father is still alive, something got hung up in there. But it's very interesting, I've always wondered that, people like John Wayne Gacy, those type of guys, they never are, asking for forgiveness. They're nothing like that. They go with smug and smirk and everything else. What would happen with their souls?
They have to be cleansed. And like I said, they have no conscience, but they have a soul. Because we're all spirit, we're all made of energy.
Right.
So they're made of energy just like we are.
So what would you say is their conscience? Their conscience. They're just a knowing of right and wrong and going against it anyway.
Who have remorse, who have feelings. I myself was actually married to a narcissistic sociopath, and he has no way of emotion, but he's a good actor. They're very good actors, but they don't have emotion. They don't have the capacity to love or care for any other living being.
Right. So what about their spirit guides? Or their spirit guides just went, whoa, there's nothing we can do? Or did
I
they...
don't believe that. I don't think they have any. I think they're just kind of let to run and do what they have to do here until it's done.
So their conscience, I feel their conscience has to be part of, of the spirit guides, but if they don't listen to their conscience, they don't listen to anything.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Ugh, what a subject, though. You know?
Yeah.
Serial killers. Ugh. Now, have you done any kind of cases of, where people are missing or anything like that?
I have not. I shouldn't say that. I've been asked a few times to help on police cases to see what I can pick up. And I have assisted on some of that, but I haven't found any lost people per se.
Okay. What have you come close or anything like that, or?
I wouldn't even say that because I've never been asked to find a body. I've never been asked to find someone.
Okay.
I've been asked if I could tell them who murdered so-and-so. What did I see? Could I give them any kind of details from that deceased person to help them with the case, just so that it might open up something? And I've worked with a couple of different police detectives out of Florida, which was interesting. They didn't tell me what I was doing at the time. They sat with me and explained the situation, and I just started to see things, and I just started to tell them this. And they're like, thank you. That's what I needed to find out. And I'm like, okay. And a young man had sat with me one time and wanted to know how his father actually died. And his father showed me this car that he was very attached to. And I said, who's the woman in the car? She had something to do with it.
Wow. I'll be darned. So now, real quick, do you ever remote view?
I think that was what I was doing.
Okay. All right. Well, we've come to the end of the show. Sorry, Willow. I got a feeling you're going to see Willow more often. So I want to thank everybody for stopping in, taking a listen. I appreciate it. Don't go anywhere because Geeks Paranormal is up next. And thank you again, Willow. It was a lot of fun. Thank you, Para X. Thank you, Sarge. And this is Jerry, the Demented One, leaving you all and saying, see you next week.